Yeah.
Yeah.
My second thought on the wall. It's 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to our July 1st meeting. And if you haven't signed in, there's a sheet on the corner of the table that you could sign in. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes of June 17, 2026. And there are actually 3 meetings that we have minutes for. So I will entertain a motion to approve all three of the meeting minutes.
So moved.
So Arnie's made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Lauren's a second. Any questions or comments or changes, edits?
Just have a question. He's putting all the way down. Ingram Hill Road is spelled different ways, different places, and I'm wondering if anybody knows the official spelling. Is it Ingraham? It is.
Yes.
Not that way. So interesting.
The way we've always
Okay.
had it.
Just making sure.
We could have had it wrong all these years, but that's the way we.
I mean, I don't know how we would ever resolve it at this point. I just thought it was.
Right.
Okay, that's all I had.
So I had a couple on page 3, line 10. Bullet says, how did the land change in value from 1,400 to 11.2 million? And those numbers are supposed to be 400,000 to 1.12 million. And then on page 6, line 17, it says there would be a stream threat to the wetland area. Not sure if that's the actual
Oh, yeah, I wondered about that.
right word. I'm wondering if that's thread or stream channel or so. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to be.
What's the line again?
17. My guess is that if this were a river, that would be the deepest part, the Thalweg. And so that's what would exist if the water were empty from that reservoir. You'd have that same stream evident, but I don't know.
I want to say, this is going from my memory, which is suspect at best, to be a stream thread through the wetland area. Because
that might make more sense.
stream thread through the wetland.
Or threading or something. I'm not sure.
That was engineer speak.
Yeah. And then page 9, line 41. Arnie asked how the electrical work at Town Hall is going. It should be KJ Electric is slated for next week, not EJ Electric. That was all I had. Anything else? All right, all in favor of,
I'm sorry,
sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
Actually, on page 1, line 35 to 36, the school caused some problems with timing of payments along the way payments were posted, led to the perceived deficit. There's for this. I'm not sure what.
Along with the way.
There's something. The
Which-
school caused some problems with timing of payments.
It says along with the way payments were
Maybe
posted.
just the word that. right? Timing of payments, period, or comma. That along with the way payments were posted led to the perceived deficit.
Or
Otherwise,
or you
I
could put a
don't know
which
what it
in
means.
front of lead, which led to the perceived
Yeah,
deficit.
that'll work too.
Okay, anything else? All right, all in favor of the June 17, 2026 select board meeting minutes as amended, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you. Next on our agenda is citizens' comments. If anyone has anything they'd like to speak about that is not on the agenda, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Lindsay.
Bill Lindsay. I'd like to thank the board for having Ron Smith make a presentation about the condition of finances, how some problems have arisen, and where a good percentage of money gets spent. My comment is not full of the spending, but my comment is the fact that we have various projects ahead of Chester that are in the $500,000 figure and up. These projects are going to come at a cost. One of the points that the auditor made was the fact that a lot of operating money ends up going to two areas of the town. That is your capital budget, and of course with capital bonding comes the word interest. Very dirty word, good for the banks. Before we get into further down the road and talking about a budget for the new year, I would like to see that the board have some sort of a presentation of where we are in our bonding. How much is that debt? What is the cost of that interest? Because that is a fixed, or will be, a fixed cost in your budget if you're aware of it or not. So knowing that you got these large expenditures coming down the road, we have one of the because the sidewalk is going to be fixed and all of them gone. You got the reservoir that has to have some sort of correction. Both of those, if you just add the bulk figure together, you have a substantial indebtedness that you're going to take place. So before you get into other operating needs of the town, I think the board needs to be updated on these costs and approximately what percentage, if you just cost it amount to what it's going to cost on the tax rate. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Anyone else? Next on the agenda is,
Wait a minute.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir. State your name.
Tommy Guggenheim. I read an article in the Chester Telegraph about Chester going to run out of money. I assume also. And Smith, the auditor, said something to the effect. You'll be discussing that.
Yes.
Any decisions or concerns? Share.
Do you want me to address that?
Yeah, sure.
So Tom, one of the things that we're doing, so we have this discussion every year. When the board sets the budget, we have this discussion. One of the things that we're doing, actually tonight is the first night, is doing throughout the summer, taking each of the departments and doing a thorough review of the services that are offered to the community, what those services cost the community via taxes, and taking recommendations. You know, we're at a point in our budget process that if you want your municipal tax, that's all we have control over. If you want your municipal tax to go down substantially, we have to cut services substantially. So what are people wanting to see? Or I think there's a lot of people that don't understand the services that the town provides and what those services cost. So this summer is about education, about the town gaining feedback from the citizens and open dialogue about this is what your taxes pay for, and let's have a discussion about, are there things we're willing to do without that can make an impact? And so that needs to be open discussion. Those are not decisions made in my office. And I don't think they're things that the 5 of them board members want to make on their own without community input. So yes, there's a lot of conversation that is starting around all of this. Yes.
They don't have to grade my road. It's nice and flat, no potholes, no washboard, nothing.
Perfect.
Leave it alone.
Okay.
We can save $1.98, I'm sure.
There you go.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, next is old business. Julie, you want to take us through that?
So, in line with budgeting, so I've been a part of a town managers collaborative group that is started. It's being facilitated by regional planning. Getting town managers in the region together to start talking about how are there things that we can do to collaborate, pool resources, to get better pricing on things. Salt is a big one. And, so those conversations are starting about ways that we can do that to save money to all of our taxpayers. One of those topics, salt, the other one is sludge. There's going to be a whole issue with sludge in the next 10 years. So Springfield's got some stuff that they're doing, but one of the things that we talked about is that we have a rail siding at Highway. And this has been talked about for a number of years. David looked at this a number of years ago about are there ways to utilize the rail for delivery when you can utilize the rail, and towns would come to us to offload to gain their supplies. How much better pricing can we all get when it's brought in that way? So I'm starting the conversations. Kirby and I are this is a long-term thing to even see if it's feasible. And what all is involved, and would the rail even let you, and all kinds of discussions to be had. But just so that you guys know, we are looking into it to see if there are substantial cost savings that could be had there for us.
So is that rail hours or is it the railroad?
Well, there's some of that we've got to work out. We have always been told, David was told that is our side.
Oh.
I don't know. So that's kind of a little bit of where we're starting. The other conversation was with M&M, who is our neighbor and does have a true rail siding that they own. So conversations with M&M about, is there something we could do there? Just again, looking for ways that we can collaborate. How can we get product in much quicker and more efficient? So I'll keep you guys updated as those things work. Sewer project, bane of my existence at the moment. This project is going well. There has been some hiccups, very surface level. I don't really have answers today. It just happened this afternoon. They did the jack and bore under the rail. It failed. So, different reasons that there is expectation that happened. We are all regrouping, engineers are regrouping, contractors regrouping, coming up with plan B and C. There are other options. There are other plans. We're just regrouping. We're going to reassemble on Monday. So the trench pit across from Smitty's, I think has been filled in. If it wasn't filled in, it's being filled in first thing in the morning. Rail is requiring that. The other two will be open for the holiday weekend, but there's more barriers being added around those. Lights will still be up, but we'll have more answers on Monday about what path we're going to take dealing with that pipe as it goes up to the rail. Contract 3, which is the pump station. Belden will be mobilizing there on Monday. Won't be starting the work for a couple weeks, but you will see equipment down there. The pump station will be starting probably the next 2 to 3. Any questions on that so far? Okay. There will be more coming on Monday. Again, we all are just like, okay, we got it. Everybody's got to regroup on the plan B. Why there was no plan B before we decided to jack and bore, not really sure. That's one of the big questions. So I'll keep you all posted on that. For happier news, you'll see in the hallway, just to kind of boost the school a little bit, we have reached out to the art department at the school to be able to display some of our student artwork. We have the new electric panels up on the green. Some of that artwork is going to go up onto the green to cover those panels, be changed out yearly. The rest of the artwork is going to come down the hallway. And then we've had several citizens over the past couple years since the train derailment in Ohio raised a lot of concerns for municipalities all across the country. We finally were brought in to a mock train derailment simulation. With the state partners were there, Vermont Emergency Management, as well as FEMA. And they used Chester. This was done as a tabletop up in Waterbury. They used Chester as a mock-up. Our chiefs went up, anticipating that they were just going to listen. They walked in and said, "This is your scene, take it." So they were very on the spot. They worked through a train derailment as to what would happen. It was right by the well, which was the perfect spot. It's the perfect storm location, actually. And we got huge accolades. FEMA wrote me an email saying, "You have the most amazing team for a town your size. I cannot believe you have that." Burlington doesn't even have this skill sets. So kudos for us, and it definitely chinked us up a ladder when we contact Vermont Emergency Management to say we need XYZ. We'll get it. So that was very cool. I'll brag on them a little bit.
Nice.
But that's it for me.
Excellent. Thank you.
Anything else for old business? Any update on Wyman's Falls and the court?
No, there was a motion that came out today, which I'm happy to, the other day, which I'm happy to share with everybody. But nothing potential.
I would like to say, on the economic development surveys, Tim, you should go help them. You wrote the best survey when we were on the planning board, and these guys really could use your help. I went through the survey and really didn't find it as trying to pull things out as well as yours has done in the past.
That's agenda item 7, so Tim can give us recommendations.
And there you go. There, I
Thank you,
mean,
Peter.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Well, no, well. Right. The other thing, I did miss the first part of the meeting last time, and I apologize for that because I did have questions. And one of the statements in there that bothered me was we actually have more than $200,000 in funds in the Windsor Mineral Fund. So we already have on the way to $400,000. We're more than halfway there with backup cash.
So, I'm sorry, Cypress Minerals?
Cypress Mineral.
Yeah.
Fund.
So when Ron is talking about no cash, and this is an important thing to make very clear, he's talking about fund balance. Fund balance and reserves are not the same thing.
That's true.
They are two different things. We have reserves, and Peter, that's exactly, we have
And
reserves.
that's what he
It's
was
fund
saying, we
balance, we
didn't
don't.
have reserves. He also didn't really, when you listen to him, he really didn't endorse fund balance accounting either. Although he was the one that brought it to us, he was very specific about funds needed to be separated.
Yeah, fund balance accounting is government accounting, that you can't not have fund balance
Yeah,
accounting.
you can separate the funds, you can
You can separate the
we can
funds, but you
separate
have
the
fund
funds
accounting.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
separate water and sewer, we separate that out.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, he's not against that. We've had that conversation with him already internally, but yeah. Yeah, there's work happening on that. You guys will be updated on that.
I understand about the cash reserves. All right, no, I'm all set.
Anything else? Okay. Next on our agenda is a request for discontinuance of Ingram Hill Road. And you should have gotten a letter from Jonah and Emma Makudowicz requesting discontinuance of that. And for you folks here, yes, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. And so we're acknowledging a receipt of your request, and we're not going to move on it until we have some other things that get cleared up. The Wyman's Falls Road discontinuance lawsuit is one of those things. So we will take this up once that issue is settled, and we will have a public hearing and all the things that go along with it. So,
And I'll keep you in the loop as things progress.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, and appreciate your patience. Any other comments about this from the board?
Well, usually on a class 4 road discontinuance, it's a decision that we have to make whether we even take it up as a board. It's not just assume that we're going to take it up, because there are different avenues of addressing this. There's a petition way to go, which 130 signatures. There's a request for the board to take it up, which the board doesn't have to do. And then it goes from there. And I realize that historically, we usually do take it up. But it's just the state statute says that those are the ways it does work. So the next step would be us as a board deciding that would.
Correct, yes.
You're just receiving this.
Yeah.
Okay,
May I weigh in?
yeah, sure, go ahead, Mr. McGinnis.
Thank you. Kirk McGinnis, a butter to Wyman Falls Class 4 Road. I would just like to prefer to address the merits through the court proceedings. My request tonight is simply that the status quo be maintained until the court resolves the dispute before there's any action going forward with discontinuing any Class 4 road. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Don't think so. Excellent. So thank you for coming. You could stay if you'd like. Next is vendor application. So we have Billy Lambden here, who has asked for permission to park her food truck around various parts of the town. And do you want to speak to anything? Thank you for coming, by the way.
Yeah, I was just curious if there was different options that would be possible. I've got a lot of other private places. I know the rules, like I can only set up 3 days in a row, no more than 12 days in a year. I'm only operating through October through foliage, and I do have a bunch of spots to move around, but if there were some town places that it would be okay to set up, I just wanted to reach out and see if that'd be possible.
Do you mean beyond what you
No,
requested?
no,
Just these?
those, yeah.
So that's the pool area gazebo, which I'm assuming is on this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. And Depot Flamstead intersection as available, which is currently under construction.
Right.
Yeah,
And if
so just be
that-
mindful of the
Yeah.
construction stuff.
Yeah.
But if that was done, would that be a spot that it would be possible? That's just a selfish request because I could literally walk from my house to there and driving the diesel bus. Like, I'm just looking for places in town, and I've gotten a lot of support of other places, but if that was a possibility, and
think-
maybe 1 day a week.
I think the question we had was parking, you know, if you're on Flamstead or First Ave, I don't, is it Flamstead across?
First Avenue.
Is it First Ave still over there? You know, there might be some issues with vehicle traffic.
What's First Ave? So Flamstead comes across the bridge, and then this is Depot Street. So the intersection that's right there is,
Up to the river on this side is still First Avenue.
okay.
First Ave actually crosses 103, crosses Depot.
Oh, okay, okay.
So just be aware of that, just so that you're not causing traffic incidents or.
I'd love to think that I'm so busy that I'd be blocking up traffic, but that has not been like my experience yet. But would it be okay to do if I was able to? There was parking once construction wasn't there, is the pool?
Yeah, yeah.
And the pool and the gazebo area, are there other parameters I should? allow?
Honestly, I can't think of anything other than this location down here. I can't think of anything.
And this one, I mean, like right now is not a time to park the food truck.
Right.
Right, yeah, but I can't think of anything that would prevent you from setting up there. And so is your plan to set up and leave the truck there for a couple of days or drive it there?
I drive it there, it's, because I have to drive it to get home, so.
Right.
And like I said, I've got Maria's that I've been at on Wednesdays. I think Garrison said I could be at the old Jiffy Mart corner. So I've got some different spots around that, it might even be a non-issue. I might not even set up, but I just wanted to reach out and see. But yeah, I wouldn't be leaving it there overnight.
Okay. What's the feeling of the board at this point?
I think with the application, the way it's spelled out and a little common sense, you're fine.
Yeah.
And the food I had at the Country Girl was great.
Thank you.
So that totally different but related. Are you gonna like post on Facebook where you are
That's
each day or
right.
whatever?
That's where I post, where I'm gonna be, and would I need to let you all know, like, okay, I'm planning on setting up on the gazebo on Tuesday, like, do you want me to tell you ahead of time, or can I just like, with the graces of knowing it's okay to do semi-frequent, is it okay to just set up? Or do
It's
I need
okay
to
with
check?
this permit with the
Okay,
board.
so I don't need to check in and like
Fine.
tell you dates and
Right.
times
Right.
every time.
I'm just thinking for your own business, you know,
Yeah.
you knew
No.
where you were, it'd be easier to find you.
Yeah, whenever you take lunch, I'll be right out here. Yeah, I know, it's on Facebook, and I do have, I want to stay close to Chester. It's been working out really well to be so close to home.
And similarly, with the concerns about parking, you won't know, we won't know until you do it. And we're going to hope that if there are issues, that we'll be able to address them.
I'll be aware of that.
Or just, you may already be aware of this, but the town owns the left side, the field on the left side between the river and First Avenue, but not the field on the right side. That's privately owned.
Going this way, the
Yeah,
side,
toward your house.
the left side is the mill, the mill owns that, the people that own the mill.
No, the town owns that.
Oh, the town owns that one.
The one that looks like it might be town property because the Yosemite Firehouse is there is actually privately.
I was thinking the opposite. So the side of the pump project on is town. Okay. All right, good to know.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to accept this vendor permit application for Jamie Landon.
So moved.
Second.
Tim and Peter, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Good luck.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah.
It's been a long, hot day. I'm
Stay
gonna go home.
cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Excitement's over, huh?
I was hoping for an argument somewhere.
Bring donuts next time.
Bagels.
Thank you.
So you do administration first, so.
We're gonna do administration first. We're gonna do administration first, because it's first in my. A lot of thought to how this goes.
All right, next on our agenda is the review of services, administration and facilities. So administration, you're up first.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of tag team these. And this is the first one we've done. So if there are, if the board would like a different way of presentation for the rest of them throughout the summer, just let me know. The first one, we title administration, but at this point, it is just the front office planning. Planning, zoning, and assessing is going to come separately by themselves. There's a lot going on in that department. And then finance will, finance is kind of up to date, and we'll be talking about that when we do the financial update. So in your packet, you have a kind of a list that Amy has assembled of town clerk responsibilities. Town clerk in Chester is an appointed position. Amy's responsibilities and duties are governed by statute. So this position is a little bit different. So those are kind of laid out here. What I don't know is if you want us to review what's in front of you for the public purposes. Amy can kind of tag team and go through this. What would you like?
From my perspective, I read this. I think I have a good handle on it. I didn't necessarily have any questions. So I don't know if the rest of the board, if you want to go through it line by line.
I feel like one of the most important aspects of these reviews is for public knowledge and education. So while I am not excited about going through 14 different aspects of Amy's job, I don't really know how to tackle that.
We could probably summarize relatively quickly if we'd like to do that. You want to try
I think
that?
that sounds good.
Okay.
So Peter, you had a comment you were going to make?
Well, I am, although it is because we have so little contact with the people and so few people actually know what Amy does.
Correct.
Summarizing it, I think is it's a disservice because you actually do quite a lot. And to somebody who thinks, well, yeah, that's just somebody who's in the office. It's like, it is a whole nother world.
Yeah, the world, very few people understand that.
Absolutely.
I wonder if maybe we could partner with a local publication to make sure that we link to this.
I didn't get a copy of it, so it wasn't in the pack.
This was in the packet.
No.
Not the one I got.
I only got mine on the email. Well, I got it in the packet.
These were in the packet.
Yeah.
And then I sent an updated one today, but these were absolutely in the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So do you want to go through your stuff and then we can, yeah, why don't we do that?
So number 1 and 2 kind of go together, election administration and the voter checklist and registration and voter checklist maintenance. Those are pretty important aspects of the job. The local, state and federal elections are run by the town clerk. You have to post certain things during certain times, and you have to stay on top of the election calendar to make sure everything gets posted when it's supposed to. Some years there's 1 election, every other year there's 3. Sometimes an extra one can get thrown in there if one of the budgets doesn't pass or something like that. But there is a lot of following the law to make sure that you do everything correctly, so that the elections can run smooth. Number 3 is.
Maybe before you go on those with the elections and the voter registration and all that, has there been any changes or any issues with the feds or any things that have happened recently or within the last year that are affecting your job or affecting how things are done?
Yeah, so there's always changes. Most of them are done through the state. The state is responsible for election administration. So when the federal government tries to get involved, the state really back because it's really the state's responsibility.
Yeah.
But things do change every year, all the time. You have to keep up with it. Samantha and I just went to an election training last Tuesday up in Rutland to learn about some of the changes.
And that impression that you had about the state pushing back when the feds do something that they're not too keen on, that's what you're getting at that level when you're getting the training and stuff?
Not necessarily. No, there's a whole election manual that they go over, and especially they'll, go over the parts that have changed. But they try not to get too much involved with that because we don't really need to learn unless something does actually, change. So. Yeah. Number 3 is recording land records and deeds. We get deeds, mortgages, easements, liens, and other documents to be recorded in the land records. So we have to record those in a timely manner and make sure that stays up to date. Number 4 is maintaining vital records. We get
Amy, I'm sorry to interrupt. For the land records and deeds, are those all scanned
yes,
before they get put into the actual vault? Okay.
Yep, they're scanned first, and we wait usually until we get 3 books to print the books, just so we don't have to do them one at a time. It kind of saves time to do them like 3 at a time. So they do get printed and still put in the vault.
Okay. And then the scanned records are online. They can be accessed.
Yes, they are available online.
How does how do those records get updated into the parcel viewer app? Ownership and pricing and all that.
So that stuff, the PTRs that come with the deeds go to Kathy and Val. They update that stuff in their system, and the parcel viewer gets updated through what they put in.
So the data goes to parcel viewer and then they add it to parcel viewer?
I think it goes in
It goes to the
list.
It goes to the grand list, but I'm not.
I'm not
It used to be
100%
parcel
sure.
viewer was only updated, the listers planning listing will talk about this. But I believe parcel viewer is only updated annually,
Once a year.
once a year. All this stuff gets sent to the mappers. And when the mappers update the maps, parcel viewer gets updated.
So all those property cards are only updated once a year.
Yeah, and that's, I think, around April 1st
Right.
when everything switches over
Yeah.
to new owners and all that.
Yeah, because the maps have to get updated, all that stuff.
Okay, so where was I, number 4?
Yeah, vital records.
So maintaining vital records, we do marriage licenses, birth and death certificates come through from vital records, and we still keep those electronically in our land records system. They don't get printed anymore, but we do issue them to people that come in from all around the state, to be that you had to go to the town clerk's office where the death or birth occurred, and you could get it there, but now you can go to any town clerk and get them at any town clerk. Marriages are still just at the one the state hasn't and got that in their system yet for the marriages, but I think that that will probably be in the future. So. So the town meeting proceedings, the minutes and things like that, we take care of that, and that's kind of runs under elections as well, like town meeting. Election. Licenses, dog licenses, registration renewals we can do for the DMV, and you do certified copies. Public records management is basically public records requests. We, manage records for public records requests with Julie and the other, like Alicia, depending on the department, we work with them on public records requests. The Board of Civil Authority. So the Board of Civil Authority, you are all part of that. And so the Justices of the Peace, you and the town clerk, they maintain records, and they, the main thing is election related duties and managing the voter checklist. Like once a year, or I think it's once every 2 years, we go through the voter checklist all together and try to decide who can come off or who needs to be challenged, that kind of thing. The Board of Tax Abatement is where people apply to have their taxes forgiven. We've had a couple of those recently and another one coming up soon. Supervision of the Assistant Town Clerk. So by statute, the town clerk is supposed to have an assistant town clerk, and she is supposed to learn every aspect of the job and be able to do the job when the town clerk is not there. So Samantha's doing a very good job, and she's still learning, like I am. So administering oaths and acknowledgements, and those come through sometimes after an election. Like Justices of the Peace have to sign an oath, and select board members sign an oath. I just did one the other day for a new police officer. He signed the oath upstairs and did the official signing in, and what's that one? This is kind of like land records, preserving the land records and making sure that the grand list gets preserved and stuff in the vault is safe. And then the last one, some of the oaths have to go to the Windsor County clerk. So the last one pertains to that, sending oaths to the clerk of the Windsor County, like the town clerk and the treasurer. And I don't know, Julie, do you know what other ones go to the Windsor County clerk?
What other,
There's a few other oaths that you have to send to the.
right.
I know the town clerk and the treasurer and maybe Justices of the Peace.
Those are the piece, and I think police officers.
And police
And police
officers.
law enforcement.
So the other part of this is something that Julie and I put together to kind of go over what all of this says. So I don't know if you want to go over that part of it.
I can. So just Samantha, just to answer some questions that sometimes I get. So Samantha, because we are required by statute to have an assistant town clerk, but Chester doesn't, we don't necessarily have the volume to have 2 full-time people in just the town clerk's office. So several years ago, actually when we hired Amy, that position is hired as an administrative assistant. So instead of replacing me, that position, when I took the town manager position, we never replaced my position. So Samantha's job, if we want to put a person to it, that assistant town clerk role, she is hired as an administrative assistant. She works as an assistant town clerk, but she's also as an assistant to me. So it was a savings we were able to take several years ago and have been able to continue forward.
That's funny because all through our government, all through our emergency services and everywhere, that cross-training
We cross-train
comes up a
everything.
lot to help save money and make things more efficient and get things done
Yes.
better.
Yeah, we make sure everybody is functioning at capacity. That is what matters.
Provides backup.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Exactly. You want to talk about what you're doing with the MCTA?
So the VMCTA is the Vermont Municipal Clerks and Treasurers Association, and they do a lot of things surrounding around town clerks and treasurers, trainings and things like that. So we're trying to go to as many trainings as we can. There are levels of kind of certification where you get certified and then you can go up the next level, and the more training you get, the higher up you can go. So Samantha and I are both working on that. So right now I am on the certification committee, the education committee, and the communication committee for the VMCTA.
Which is something new. After Amy went to, if you recall, the past 3 years, Amy did NEMC. Amy did the New England municipal clerk. So she's a certified municipal clerk. Something that Samantha would like to, there's a lot of benefits that come from that. And so with that, Amy is more active in the Municipal Clerks Treasurers Association. We've never really been super active in that group. But like me being active with VLCT, it brings certain benefits to make sure that you're connected to other things that are going on in the state, helps bring some efficiency. It doesn't take a ton of your time.
No, it doesn't.
It's not,
No.
it's not a time suck, but
Sounds like the
It's only
networking.
a couple meetings per each one a year, So I really enjoy it. Nice to be able to talk to all the other clerks and find out what's going on with them.
Great about your bosses.
And then in addition to the regular clerk duty, the front office staff, so if you remember last year, one of the things we got rid of was we had an outside company doing the cleaning of the building. So when the town clerk's office switched to a Monday through Thursday, this is one of the things that Samantha does on Friday. It is part of her duties, is now she cleans town hall. So that saved about 10 grand a year. It's in her normal duties. It's in her normal 40 hours. So that's one thing. And then they do a lot of other stuff. Samantha runs our purchase order system. Amy helps me with tax sales. They do the water sewer billing, all the delinquent billing for me. Amy does the fuel billing. So there's a lot of other stuff done out in the front office. That is stuff that I used to do for David, is now handled out in the front office because there's space to get that stuff done.
Is this all in a job description somewhere?
Oh, it's funny that you should say that.
Yeah.
We are working on job descriptions. That's one of our tasks this year, is job description, updating job descriptions. Because now that we are cross-training, job descriptions are all over the place. So getting those updated. She just started them. Do you want to talk about, so we are trying to also talk a little bit about things that we see on the horizon that may be coming. Sometime over maybe the next 5 years or 10 years, all the departments are looking at this, like, what do we expect? One of the projects you guys had is we're going to talk about the grand list.
Yeah, so we're still working on getting the grand list kind of preserved in a better way. Right now, they're all sitting on top of the shelf in there, and it's not great. But at the last training I went to, I did see the lady from CoFile, and that's the company, they're the ones that help preserve your records. So she is supposed to be getting a hold of me. She was busy at the beginning of the year, so hopefully she'll be getting a hold of me soon to get a quote and go over how we can get those books preserved a little bit better in a better spot.
And that would be an expense not from the general fund. That would be an expense from the the preservation reserve fund that the state required all municipalities 3-4 years ago. When the state increased recording fees, they required every municipality to set up this records preservation reserve fund. And every recording fee, a certain dollar amount, is required by law to go into that record preservation fund.
Yeah.
So that when there are things like the grand list that needs to be preserved, needs to be archived, that's where that money would come from and not the tax base.
Yeah, it's $15 per page for recording, and $4 of the per page fee goes to that fund. And it can only be used for preservation of things that evolve and land records and stuff like that.
And that's by statute. That's a requirement of every municipality.
Where does the rest of the money go? General fund.
to general fund revenue line.
Sure.
You want to keep going about your archiving? Your staff is
Oh,
working on
yes.
scanning it down?
So we still have some books that are prior to 1980 that need to be scanned into the land records. So
Did you say?
Samantha's gotten.
Oh, just a few. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
There's quite a few. And Samantha has gotten 3 of them done. She just picks out a book when she has time and she'll scan it.
A lot cheaper than
Yeah.
sending them out like we're used to.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about getting the same scanner that she has for my desk so we can both do it. And I think the cost like
It was like
$500.
$500, yeah.
And it came out of that preservation fund. So we can use that money for that kind of stuff too.
The deed books are fun. It would be nice to see the grant list scanned. Because that is, because the grant list is in such disarray that it's hard to find things.
Not that it's an issue, but the thing with the grand list is the books don't come apart.
No.
So you would have to put it on an actual flatbed scanner to scan those. So I'm not sure that is something that.
Those maybe have to be sent out.
Yeah.
Those ones may have to be sent out and preserved. There's some of the old deed books, that's what we had to do. There's a lot of books we had to send away. We didn't have the ability to do them without damaging.
So is the goal to eventually have everything in that vault digitized and recorded?
I would say yes. I'm not sure the grand list, that seems like a major project.
Yeah.
The grand list, that seems like it might be.
I don't know if it's just a little better way to organize it. somehow.
Yeah, that's
Somebody-
what I'm waiting for co-file to call me to see about being maybe rebound or just get some better shelves in there to put them on too. But I don't know if when they're rebinding them, if they can scan them too.
That's how they did some of the old ones.
The old ones.
I mean, when we first did it, it was getting back the 40 years, so you could do a full 40-year search.
Yeah.
That was goal number 1.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think the plan was always to keep going back to do as much of it as we can do in-house.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to hit a point with the old stuff that it's not wise for us to do it in-house. They're going to need to be sent out, scanned, and then, by their special equipment.
Translated.
Exactly. Yeah,
The
yeah,
scanner that-
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Part of it was that the scanner that we had to get is 11 by 17. Most scanners are only, you can do 8.5 by 14 with most scanners. So the scanner that we got Samantha is a little bit wider, can do the bigger books.
Another future project with zoning on that same line. So that access database that we have, the parcel viewer database that you have, in that program, anything that we have digitally can be linked in that program. So a long range future project, again, in-house, we don't need to pay anybody to do this, this would be in-house, is getting the zoning permits in parcel viewer. So when you pull up a parcel, you've got every zoning permit because they attach to property, not person, having those in there. And then you can also do the immediate incoming deed. You wouldn't want to do a title search. We don't want to be responsible for that, but your immediate incoming deed could also be attached. There's lots that can be done with that program. Anything you have digital can be linked to the parcel. So there's lots of opportunity there.
For that service.
We do pay for that service. It's not a ton. It's part of our, the state had a grant years ago that paid for, they wanted, every municipality had to have there's maps digital and this parcel viewer statute thing. So the program was paid for, and then the maintenance, actually, I think the maintenance is in the lister's budget. I don't have that with me. It's like $500 a year or something like that. It's not substantial.
Does it cost more if we add more data to it or?
No, the only thing it would cost is if we ask them to link the data. So again, future project would be cool, would take, would advance, wouldn't be an expense to the taxpayer other than municipal labor, which we're already here anyway. Exactly. And then the other thing that we have been talking about, and this was a part of the conversation with town managers too on collaboration, is a lot of municipalities are starting to look at somebody who handles their communications piece. I've been saying this for a couple of years. We are so horrible at communication. And every municipality is. We're just not good at it. But the one thing that we are finding is that communication, it's not just posting something on Facebook. There's an art to communication in the way you communicate and how you communicate effectively. So one of the things that a lot of us are talking about is this a shared service? Like, is this somebody that, 3 or 4 towns could go in with together and have an employee that deals with communication? It's just something that we're just thinking about and looking at. I have no idea. I don't even know what a cost would be. So just something on the horizon to think about.
I think that would be an important project because all of us here have talked about how difficult it is to actually get the public to pay attention to
Correct.
what's going on.
Correct.
And a professional communicator, a public relations person, that's what they do.
And I think there's a lot, if we could communicate effectively, the little tiny bit that I am on social media, when I often see posts, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a rant and the initial statement isn't even true. But there's an element of, please don't share something if it's not true. But if the town had just put out what was actually happening, the whole thing wouldn't have, so.
We give people a place to reference. So did you look on the town? Yeah.
Exactly. We're just notoriously not good at communication. So figuring out that piece, we're going to put some emphasis on next year. The other thing that municipalities are doing is website updates for this company called Civic Plus. They specialize in websites for only municipalities. Several in the region. They're apparently not expensive. They do a great job. And one of the cool features that they have is you can sign up to be on a town's email list. And when you sign up, there's like a whole series of checklists of things that you want to be kept informed on. And so say you select, agendas. Anytime that the town posts an agenda to the website, it shoots out an email. So, which is minimal. I mean, the fee for that is, I think Springfield pays like $700 a year for the whole thing. So, I mean, it's very affordable and it's tailored to government. And it has a whole communication element built within it. So we'll look at it, get a price, see, talk about it for next year. But I think that was it for the front office.
It's a hard discussion to have when we go over all this with all the information and all the work they do. And what do we get out of it? Well, maybe we need another person to do communication or something else to add more to it. But they're vital services.
It just depends on what do we want.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and if,
Stuff.
yeah, exactly.
So I'd like to thank you. I think you do a great job. I've been in there reading records before and have listened to people come in and rant at you for no particularly good reason at all. And you still take it with a smile, which is like very impressive.
Thank you.
I agree. You do a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Had a question?
Bidwell, yes, all the scanning that's being done by ourselves and all of it in that is, what's the protocol for backups? Is it all being done by a third party? So all your data is saved by a third party, or is it some of it saved on a hard drive someplace in the town? And what's the backup protocol? Do you have more than one backup? And is it on site? Is it off site?
So we have a server in the basement that the program is stored on. It's called GovOS.
Mhm.
And we also, they back up the records to the cloud. So
Okay.
we have a cloud version and the server version.
That's of all town documents.
So
There's a server and then we're in the cloud.
so everything goes in there. Okay,
For
thank
the
you.
land records and.
And for anything, like all of,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything on my computer is backed up to the server and to the cloud.
Yeah.
Everything.
So out of these 14 plus items, which ones we're going to get rid of?
Get rid of elections. No more election, no more election.
There's people talking about that, so I don't know.
No, I actually don't mind
Careful what you
elections
wish for.
changing of all the laws, that is.
Right, hard to keep up with.
hard to keep up with, yeah.
Wanda has a question.
Yes, Wanda.
Chester. This was because, the reason why I'm here is because I talked to Julie the other day. And I thought that maybe we were gonna be able to, not tonight, maybe not tonight, but I'm gonna be emailing her with some suggestions on where you could probably save some money. Been through this over the years anyway with a couple of thoughts. I won't bring it up tonight because it's taking a little bit longer than I thought. But I think you ought to be very serious about making some cuts. My tax bill, going by what Julie told me the other day, is gonna go up 5% for the town. That's a total of $329 for the town. That doesn't sound like a lot, but it went up $329 last year. And then you throw in the state with another $500 increase, $700 last year, $700 to $800. So each year your taxes go up. So that percentage accumulates over that amount that we had for last year. So now I'm looking at over $800 for just the increase in my taxes this year. So I have to cut for my budget. Now I'm retired. I think you guys need to cut. And I'm sorry if it hurts somebody's feelings. I don't mean to be mean to anybody, but I took one look at one of the salaries here. And the only thing that I will bring up is, we brought this up in years past, is that salaries are very good for the town. They never used to be. When I first started for the town, they were lousy, but now they're good. And benefits are 100%. From what I understand, they're still 100%. We've talked about 80-20 before. That would cut, I would think, would save a lot of money on insurance. That's one big thing. So, and I have some other thoughts too, but I really seriously think that I am not the only one in town who thinks that their tax bill is getting way out of line. And I know we're just a small town, and maybe we don't need all of these things. If I have to cut my budget and decide where I'm going to spend my money, the most beneficial way, then I think the town should too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. That's the purpose of this meeting, this series of meetings, is to get input just like that. And we'd appreciate it. An email, detailed email, send it to Julie and we'll discuss it. So
I think a lot of people just will not stand up and say anything. You know, they won't come in here and complain.
yeah, well, talk to your neighbors and friends and have them come.
I have, but they won't.
Yeah. And this is part of what we were just discussing, the whole communications aspect of it, because we sit behind this desk and sometimes there's 2 people in the seats there and sometimes there's 10, but often it's nobody.
They don't care. They really don't care. And what you're doing here, personally, I don't think that anybody out there in the public really cares about hearing about what we do. I think most people understand what the town clerk does. Maybe they don't understand what the zoning does, or unless they're in a specific reason to talk to zoning. But they're going to care when they get that tax bill.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thank you, Wanda. I appreciate the input. Anything else? Well, Amy, thank you again. I will echo what everybody else said. I think you're doing a great job. We appreciate it. And the smile behind the desk is always welcome. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next is our facilities. And so, Mr. Burfay, if you want to come on up.
Have a good night. I'm gonna go home.
Okay.
Good night, guys.
See you tomorrow, Amy.
Amy.
So facilities. Steve is we have one individual, one full-time employee in the facilities budget. And I guess, again, we'll just kind of go through. We've taken Steve's job and tried to articulate. The thing with facilities is it's not just maintenance of buildings. Steve, again, crosses all departments. So in a nutshell, the buildings that Steve maintains is public safety building, town hall, town garage, the library, the academy building, the sewer plant, and the recreation facilities. Management of these includes, assessing all the buildings daily, response to all alarms for all the buildings. Most of the buildings are now on alarm systems, so that was one thing that we had changed. Steve does the contractor carpentry work for the town, includes the painting, electrical, plumbing troubleshooting. And then on larger projects, he assists and manages all of the contractors that are hired to do work, to make sure work is done well and to minimize costs on overall projects. Often when projects are being done, the contractor will be there working and Steve will be working with them. So that minimizes costs dramatically when we have work in the buildings. Steve also manages and organizes all town contracts, and it's amazing how many town contracts there are. Coordinates all contractors for work to be completed, maintains equipment and vehicles for fire and ambulance, and manages the maintenance of all of those. Works with the LCT loss prevention to ensure compliance. All of that keeps our insurance rates low. Again, doesn't seem like a big thing until your insurance rates go up. Steve also is one of our first responders, so he's first out on fire and ambulance calls for the town, which gets quicker response. He's on duty anyway. And Steve is always working for how do we reduce operational costs for the town. Steve also, when he's doing those things, also works with other departments. So like when highway lays out bridge work, Steve, if they need an extra hand, Steve will go do that. He is our assistant fire warden. He helped to, he helped to maintain the town signage system, traffic control when needed. Steve does welding and fabrication when needed. And he helps highway to flush culverts in the spring and helps winterize the pool and start up in the spring. So it crosses all departments, assists all departments. Some of the large projects that we've done that Steve facilitated was the public safety building construction. Steve started here in the middle of that. So was able to take over as clerk of the works for that. Highway garage update, Steve managed that project. The huge electrical upgrade at the pool when Green Mountain Power did their big thing. All the electrical installation on the green from that grant. All the Christmas lighting that happened. The energy grant, the $500,000 grant that is active now for all the energy upgrades to all to the 3 municipal buildings is being managed by Steve. This is so that you don't have to hire a municipal project manager, which costs another 20%. That's required by the grant. So we are able to use in-house staff to do that. So we get more money for our work. Steve was integral in the Brookside Bridge, and there's a 400 amp upgrade to the Academy building that Steve is facilitating with Green Mountain Power. So there's a lot. It's kind of hard to nail down all the things that Steve does with one person, but we find him vital.
The question that I have, and it is because you're going back and forth between emergency services. Is he getting, like, he goes out for the fire department, is he getting paid the fire department? He's getting paid by facilities.
He's getting paid by facilities. That's part of his job description in his 40 hours.
In his 40 hours.
Yeah.
So then.
He doesn't respond to calls in the evening.
Well, okay, no, my point is then if you look at the fire budget, you actually have a part-time, full-time person there that we're not seeing in that budget.
Correct. You're seeing it in facilities.
Seeing it in facilities.
Yep. It's part of the cross-training piece. Yep.
And that only pertains to calls in town,
Right.
Like through mutual aid, if there's station coverage, I don't go. It's primary, it's just ambulance calls, fire calls in Chester and Andover, because we cover Andover, so.
Yeah.
Steve, if you were going to average it out, how many hours a week do you think goes to that? I know it probably fluctuates a lot during the year.
It's not really a lot of hours. Lately, since we had the ambulance stuff, I was doing a little more stuff with some troubleshooting on our loaner ambulance and our old ambulance and stuff. But for the most part, depending on the amount of calls we get, during the week, it could be maybe 5 hours, 5 to 10 hours, probably a week. And 10 would be on the high side. So I'd probably say 5 to 7 hours a week, depending on the ambulance call. Because a typical ambulance call, as long as it's not anything bad, is usually about an hour. By the time we go pick up the patient, bring them to Springfield.
Well, it sounds like it's a great thing to have because you're there and the response time cuts down
Exactly.
immensely. But it is also a chunk out of your day too. I mean, 5 hours, 7 hours a week out of a 40-hour week.
Yeah, and see, I do so many different things in one day
Yeah.
that I'm like a super duper ball. I just kind of ricochet all over
I've
town.
seen you everywhere.
And it kind of fits in, and there's some instances if I'm working on a project or with a contractor, I can't go. It's not like I drop everything and just go. If it's a major structure fire, I'm gone because the quicker response you can get, to knock down the fire, the better off it is versus, not going.
But I will say too, if there's people at the station, Steve drives when there's not somebody else to drive. So if there are already 2 on at the station, they can go, then that's what happens. Steve doesn't go.
Yep.
Do you have questions about what he does?
Nope.
Okay.
Does everything.
The question, just because it's the savings, because we're not bringing on, is there any way, because it's actually a pretty big number, because by the time you call in anybody to do any service work, it's now $100+ an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any way to qualify the number of hours of service work you're saving?
We've talked about this a few times.
I know it's a
hard.
totally
It's
dartboard question,
hard to do.
but it does easily justify his position.
Well,
If
any
you
of the
can-
any of the contractor work
Yeah.
that is grant funded, you would be adding 20% for municipal management.
You'd be taking 20% away from the
Correct.
project for a
Correct.
manager.
But the thing
So
is.
that's one way that you could maybe start thinking about how
You
you
could
might
start that,
quantify
yeah.
some
I
numbers
think it would
there.
be very useful to show a
Yeah.
couple of those examples
Right.
to people to be
Yeah.
able to
That's a
say,
good idea.
in the last 12 months, as a
know,
result of having this, here's what 20% of these 3 things are, because we
Right.
have this, you have saved X amount of dollars.
Well,
That's the useful-
you go and reset the HVAC unit that you would have paid somebody else. Oh, it's after hours.
Yep. The after hour calls are
Phenomenal.
yes.
Right.
It seems like a lot of it, never mind the maintenance end of it and repairing things, it's the preventive maintenance. The checking of the buildings and spotting things before they become expensive and a breakdown in the middle of the night. You catch all that. We never used to catch a lot of that. Things would just break and would have to deal with it.
And that's usually my routine in the morning. Typical morning is good. Go in, leave, come down, walk through all the buildings first thing in the morning while it's, obviously quiet, nobody's there. But you'd be surprised. We found a couple leaky water heaters. I came into one of the buildings, the hot water was running, stuff left on. You'd be surprised what you find.
There's a lot to maintain.
Yeah, and when we brought a facilities director on, how long have you been here? 5
I
years?
think almost 5 years.
5 years. It was because the buildings had been neglected for so many years. And so the mindset at that time of the board at that time was we need to start being more proactive on the maintenance of the properties so that you were not spending as much money on those buildings. I don't know how to quantify that.
And we've come a long way as far as maintenance wise, and we're almost caught up. I don't want to say it, but knock on wood, we're almost caught up on things that need to be upgraded that haven't been upgraded in quite a while. So we're moving very quickly towards being, I don't want to say complete in all the upgrades that we needed to do, So.
Yeah.
Wanda?
What are the plans for the town barn next door to me? It's getting worse and worse, and during the last windy spell we had a couple of months ago, the sheets of metal were coming off that roof, landing in the yard. I was afraid one of them was gonna end up out on 103. It's just, becoming an eyesore. So I think it should either be taken down or something.
Yeah, we've been discussing this for what, 10
Well,
years?
it's gonna cost money,
15, yeah,
but it's gonna
yeah,
fall down if you don't.
yeah.
do something.
Thank you for that. So there's a list here of future needs coming. You want to address any of
Yep.
those or?
Yeah, so, as far as budget wise, we try to keep it as low as possible. Maintenance stuff, we try to look into the future to see what we're gonna need to do. In the future, I'd like to increase it just a little bit, just for unforeseen conditions that just happen to pop up, and usually when they do, it's close to what we budgeted, and it's stuff that you really can't project what's gonna happen. So it'd be nice to have a little bit more money in the, the budget, so if we needed to upgrade a couple little things, we were able to. The generator, when they do the upgrade on First Avenue, we're gonna take the generator that's there, we're gonna repurpose it over for the town highway. I talked to the company who does all the generator work, and he says it's not that big. It's basically different taps on the generator to swap it over to a different phase for 220 volts versus the 3-phase that it is now. The generator only has 300 hours on it, so it'd be a shame to see it disappear. It'll take place of that little tiny generator that they have there. And that's where some of the extra money would come in handy, because the little generator that's there, there's only certain circuits that they can run. Most of it's lighting, a couple outlets. They can't run the welders if they needed to, because the generator's not big enough. With that other generator, it will be big enough, so we're gonna have to reconfigure some little bit of wiring inside the building so they'll be able to do some welding if they need, or run the compressor or stuff like that. And that's not a high dollar price to do that anyway. We'll probably end up doing, meaning me doing the concrete work along with the company who does the generator to drop the conduits in and stuff. What else? The boiler that we had from the Academy building, it's a Boderis. It's only, I think, 2 years of running time on it. So when we had the grant, we replaced the 2 propane furnaces down there at the Academy building. So we're gonna take that furnace and repurpose it over to the town highway as well, because right now there's no backup heat for over there. The wood-fired boiler is probably about 20 years old right now, so it's getting close to the end of life on that. And if we were to lose that wood-fired boiler, we'd have to get some type of temporary heat in there quickly, so we didn't freeze all the heat loop that's in there. So the boilers, I talked to Bart's, the boiler is big enough to maintain heat in that building, and it's pretty much basically just tap into the existing heating system that's there, the loop. It's a closed loop. So we're going to repurpose that furnace in the oil tank and some of the controls for that. So that will, again, won't be a costly event. The automated controls at the emergency service building, I've been talking with a couple different people. Make a long story short, they have heat recovery units that are pulling outside air into the building, sucking it out. So there's no control. I have no control over the system right now to shut the HRUs off other than manually, because right now we're pulling in 100% moisture, and now we're trying to air condition it, and it's sucking right back out. So it's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of people that I've been talking with about possibly putting some air conditioning coils in those units, and or putting some humidistats on it. So if it gets to a certain humidity, the unit shuts off. But that has to do a little bit with some timing and stuff, because we will need some fresh air in there. So that's one of the projects that
And does that ultimately saves on the electric, right?
Electricity,
So that
yes.
won't be running constantly.
Yep. So like basically pulling in 100% moisture, trying to air condition it. So the air conditioners,
So there's, all right. So there's no recovery.
there is a little one during the winter time when it's, you're heating, because what they do is they temper the air coming in.
Well, I know the reason, 'cause I went through this once before, that the reason they do that in a public service building is more about health.
Yep. Yep. So if we put, air conditioning coils, I'm getting a price from Bart's on doing that. If we put air conditioning coils, we can let those run.
Yep.
So we're pulling in air conditioned
Yeah.
air versus 100% humidity. So it'll make the mini splits run
Yep.
less.
Yep.
And save some electricity in the long run. So, and to me, it kind of defeats the purpose of pumping in 100% humidity
Yep.
and air conditioning it and sucking it right back out. You're still gonna suck it out.
Yep.
A small portion of it, but it's that pumping 100% humidity into the building all the time.
Yep.
So that's something I want to work on for the end of this year, next year.
Electric bill on that building
It,
is high.
well, but
So like, where can we streamline this, you
Well,
know?
a heat recovery unit, but the thing is the way the buildings are designed like that is so if somebody comes in with the flu, you just don't spread the flu
Mhm.
through the whole building.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
whole purpose of it being that way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the problem with being that way is that,
Expensive
Yeah.
electric.
right,
So my solution hopefully would be just to put the air conditioning coils in there and cool the air, get rid of the condensation before it comes into the
seems
building.
like you put on, if you've got a rooftop unit, it seems like you could run it through a heat recovery unit.
Yep. So Bart's is gonna come, he's probably gonna come next week and we're gonna talk about, see what's available there. And that, when we do that, that way the bathrooms will be air conditioned, because right now the bathrooms are not air conditioned, they're just steamy and balmy from all the.
Steamy.
Those HRVs, they're all required by the state, by
Yeah.
state building codes for new construction and for especially in commercial places,
But
for the air quality.
well, no, it's the problem is when it becomes a public service building.
Yeah.
That's the trouble.
Yeah.
That's the
And
trouble.
yes, air quality. Oh, air quality.
Yeah, it becomes it's like the economics of it doesn't matter anymore because you want to keep everybody healthy.
And then something else I'd like to look at is some improved camera systems, not
And these
only.
are not, let's be clear, this is not all, these are all things that we are looking at. Like, this is not, let's be clear, this is not like, this is all getting added to a budget. I
Correct.
just want to be clear about that conversation. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Improved camera systems, especially down at the emergency service building. Right now, we have two separate camera systems, one for fire, one for PD. PD can't see on the fire side around our side of the building towards the Pleasant Street Apartments. And we can't see on their side of the building. So, and, possibly put some camera systems in town here with for security.
Yeah,
So-
we've had vandalism issues.
Yes.
So that would just be around public buildings.
Yes.
Okay.
You're not gonna camera the green.
All the
Right.
stoplights too.
Yeah.
Like she really said, these are just some future ideas I have that I would like to pursue eventually, not necessarily
Right.
next year's budget.
Yeah.
But these are things that, there are conversations happening about requirements of municipal buildings being cameraed. I don't know that there will ever be a day that will happen, but those conversations are coming up in circles that I travel in. So, and I think it's because everybody's experiencing vandalism on municipal properties. And then, like, we had one of our signs that got knocked over. We had stored at the town garage, and it was stolen from the town garage property. To replace that sign is $6,000.
What kind of, one of the.
One of our wayfinding signs
Oh,
got
yeah.
hit in an accident. Somebody hit it. So we took it over to the highway garage. We're gonna do some repairs and put it back up, and it got stolen from the highway garage. That massive sign, it's a $6,000 sign. Had we have had a camera, no,
No insurance.
insurance doesn't cover those. So there's been vandalism up at the Pinnacle, several times. So, there's benefit to it. Does the cost outweigh the I don't, you know, so one of those things to think about long term. I don't know.
Next thing, the next 3 to 5 years of pool house renovations, we've
We
been
talked
talking about that
this,
for
yeah.
a while. The other thing we were also considering too is a building for Matt he has those 2 little buildings, building some type of small garage structure.
We talked about that. So
Right.
again, very long term, evaluate the need type of thing, but these are things that have been discussed over the past several years. But the pool house, I mean, the roof is,
Looking slate.
we don't need to expand it. We don't need to expand it. We don't, that long-term conversation can go away for
Right.
years to come, right? But like the roof, we are having major issues on the
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah, pinholes in all the valley flashing and.
Yeah, and there's issues with the
The
roof.
pool was packed today.
Yeah, you skipped over the asphalt repairs at the public safety building, and town
Yep.
hall, library and
Yep,
pool.
yes, yep. Yeah, I've been talking with Kirby about possibly looking into a crack sealer. During the winter time, the water gets down in the cracks, it freezes to the point where that asphalt actually heaved up, so it wasn't pitched. And every year it gets worse and worse and worse, because as it goes up, the ground gets unsettled, then it goes back down, then it cracks, and, so that's.
Asphalt ceiling can save you as much as 5 years between a repave.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You know,
saves
and-
on the highways now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Right.
It's just more economical.
And then the other buildings, the library and, up at the rec field, where with Green Mountain Power, we cut across the parking lot to repair that stuff there. The furnaces in this building, according to Bart's, probably within the next 3 years as a backup heat source. Especially when it gets cold in the winter. The furnaces they're just about past their life expectancy, so, because we've been kind of putting a few parts and pieces into it this year to keep them going, so as of right now, everything's working. So their recommendation is to replace the furnaces in the building. And then the big one that we're working on now is the ADA upgrades at the library. Like Julie says, we applied for a grant, and I believe we're still waiting on
Yeah, we're
that.
still waiting on the answer to that.
Yeah.
That's 100% budget grant.
And these are just, I jot down stuff that I'd like to see. It's more of a reminder for myself to keep throwing it out there to Julie and say, we're gonna need to do something here, and kind of looking forward.
Any other questions for Steve?
What do you do in your spare time?
Sit on my couch. And relax.
All right, well, Steve, thank
Any
you.
questions on this or anything you want me to look at or look into, or we'll work on seeing if we can quantify those savings. We'll kind of resurface that conversation about the Jeffrey Barn, get that conversation going.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I just think something that illustrates that Steve's position is a good investment for the town.
Okay,
I think we all understand that here, but I'm not sure the public
sure.
fully does.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else? Excellent. Well, thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to stay.
We can go home
Thank you,
and
but
sit
no,
on your
thank
porch.
you.
Before you go sit on your porch, right?
All right, everybody have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Chester Economic Development Committee surveys.
So the economic,
Do we have something in our pocket?
you don't, there's just a link to the
Just a
survey.
link.
I just gave you the link to the survey. So the Economic Development Committee is working on one of the things that we're starting. This is, as you all know, a brand spanking new committee. One of the places that they're starting is trying to develop a baseline of kind of where businesses, where people think that we are at, like from a business perspective. What are your struggles? What are you having challenges with? How is the town helping? How is the town hurting? Those types of things. And so there's a subcommittee of the Economic Development Committee that worked on the creation of several surveys. They were intended to be very simple, 2 to 3 question surveys. Those have gone live, just to create a baseline. The other thing that we're doing is, so myself and Preston are with Bob Flint. We're going to some of our larger businesses in town, having sit-down conversations about how they're doing, business-wise. And, relationship with the town. Are there, what are things that they're seeing that they need? If there's ways that we can make connections for them to other, resources, and that's happened a few times. Regional planning, Springfield Regional Development Corp, has a ton of programs that they have access to that they can make available to businesses. So individual members of the CEDC are going to be going, every business in town is going to get a one-on-one conversation with somebody from the CEDC, recognizing that they may not want to come to a meeting and voice concerns that they're having. So, so far, several of those conversations have happened. They've been good conversation, they've been informative conversations.
So when you say every business, that's on the green, or
No,
anybody who's
We
running
created with the help of regional planning and the Chamber of Commerce and all of Sean helped with it, with creating a database of businesses that call Chester home to their business, whether it's not just brick and mortar. So every kind of business, all the electricians, all of the, and that will be going live if it hasn't yet. And all of those businesses are going to get some type of a communication from members of the CEDC. We want to create we want to create a baseline. I hear from one group of businesses, the town does nothing for me. Well, but you never come to me. What do you need? And then the other side is like, oh, the town is amazing. They do everything. Okay, great. I doubt that that's true. But, where are people at business wise? Because the grand list or the tax bill is one side, the grand list and your economy is the other side. So making sure that we're looking at it all. And the town can help in whatever way it can. There are resources that we can connect people with, state, federal.
So these surveys are live right now?
These surveys are live.
Okay.
We have had several responses. So far, the subcommittee is, compiling the data of what we receive. We'll keep them live for a while.
Are they being promoted?
This is brand spanking new, promotion number 1, right here, right now, live in front of you. Promotion number 1. There are going to be there are QR codes for all of these surveys. I believe that there are going to be, those QR codes are going to get posted in several places, local businesses. We've talked to some of the local businesses like on the green and throughout town that will have the QR code, in a little poster that says, hey, help us out. Damon Tyler and Carl Henshaw are the computer people. They're going to be doing a bunch of stuff with promoting that. Brian Santiago the same way. Brian Santiago is creating an actual, this is what he does. So he's creating an actual image that goes with this, and we'll be getting that out hopefully this week.
Nice.
Exciting. Yeah.
It is.
That's good progress.
So it's one effort that we're working on. Again, the list of businesses that we have in town to me was very important. There wasn't one I think there were several. That was the problem. And there were several that were outdated. So having a list of what do we actually have for businesses in Chester is pretty extensive for a town our size. So
Speaking of outdated, I don't know how I ended up there, but I found the Wikipedia page for Chester, Vermont.
Okay.
That would be something to put in front of the economic
You're
development.
laughing.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, Wikipedia page for Chester. I guess I'll have to look it up. Okay.
Yeah, it's not worth explaining here.
Got it. Do my own research.
Good.
Could use some updating.
Okay. We'll do some.
I'm not sure who, I
Do
could
some
guess,
work on
I
that.
could guess who created it by reading it, but I won't.
Okay, understood. I have no idea. Okay, I will bring that to their attention.
Excellent. Well, thank the committee for us.
Yeah, they're doing quick work here.
Any other discussion on that? Next is the tax rate calculation.
So you've already set the municipal tax rate. You said at your last meeting, I received the education tax rate this afternoon.
Must be June 30th still.
Yeah, I'll never have it in on time. So the non-residential tax rate is at 1.9339. This is education only. Residential education only is 2.0107. So the education rate went up 14 cents. Which, if there is any form of a silver lining, it wasn't the 21 cents that they had anticipated.
Did you say those again, Julie?
Sure. Do you want just the residential or do you want the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay, so the whole thing, get ready. Whole thing with education and municipal, the non-residential, 3.03. Residential, 3.11. So one thing of note with the education rates is we have now flipped. The non-residential rate in Chester is less than the residential rate, which I don't know that that's ever happened.
No.
And that's based on, that's the education stuff, so.
And that, and now is that with the factor of, the factor is on top of this, right? Because we have the CLA on top of this, right?
This is our rate.
This is our.
This
rate.
is our rate. It says everything figured into it.
Okay.
Correct. Correct.
What is our CLA? It's down like 70%.
CLA is 59%.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's why that number's like that.
And municipalities all across the state, I mean, everybody's signed up for their reappraisal. But you know, you're on a list for 3 years because there's so few reappraisal firms. We've gone to the state to say, really, like we've signed up, is there any stabilization that you can do? The LCT has gone to the legislature and to the state and said, there's just because there's so many municipalities that are in this boat across the state. There's so many. It's the larger majority. And the state said, no. Nope. And your rate will drop when your CLA is
When
corrected.
you say the state, that's the
Education.
administration,
Mhm.
not the legislature. It's
No, the administration.
Administrative branch.
Correct.
Say it one more time. It's the administrative branch.
Correct. Correct.
So we're not gonna see any relief for years.
You're not going to see any relief
the CLA and all that.
until the appraisal becomes effective, which will be 29. Yep. And it is no reassurance, but I am surprised that it is only up 14 cents. It was projected to be 21.
Because they did a buyout or something. They added some money.
They may
to-
have, I'm not sure.
I think so.
They may have.
Yeah.
So, what I'm hoping is that if the market is stabilizing, in some way, the CLA won't keep dropping. But the market needs to stabilize.
If anything, it's stabilizing and actually going down a bit, I think, but
So that, you know, maybe next year we'll have some impact. That's where we're at.
Yes, Wanda.
We don't have a state rate yet?
We don't have a state. Yeah, that's the combined rate.
Oh,
That's education and municipal. Do you want just the education?
yeah.
You want just the education only? Education only for non-residential, 1.9339. Residential, 2.0107.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else on the tax rate calculation?
Just for
So
you
do we
guys
have
to
to
sign.
vote?
You've already set the municipal rate.
Oh,
I just
okay.
need you to sign the tax
what
calculation.
was last year's combined? You don't have, do you have those?
I can run and grab them while you guys are signing. Let me go grab them.
Use red ink. My friend.
A yard?
My, at the shop.
A lot of them around this year.
Yeah.
All right, so let's,
Bears. Bear, yeah.
do you want total rate, Arnie? So the residential for 2025 was 2.9094. And the non-residential was 2.9138. Was last year's.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Didn't make me feel any better.
What was the CLA? Julie, what was the CLA last year? Do
60.
you have that?
I'm not sure if I've got it in here, Sean. It was 60. I feel like it was like 64%, 65%. Because it dropped like another 5 or 6%.
That's what I was, and so that adds to
Absolutely.
that.
That is part
that's
of it.
yeah.
Which I'm, again, like I said, I'm surprised
That isn't worse.
that it's not worse, which tells me that something is starting to stabilize. I mean, it's still horrible, but something is starting to stabilize.
Good night, folks. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
One good rifle shot, take that bar down.
Wait, we're still live.
We will work on it for you, Wanda. I promise you. So I am surprised that it's not higher because like I said, it was projected and anticipated that it might be 21 for education. It is 14, so it's something.
There's still so much I don't know about the way our government works, our state government. But this just seems crazy to me that we're penalized for something that we have no control over and it can't fix.
Correct.
Our citizens.
Correct.
I should say.
Correct. But we are the voice. We are where people come because we are the avenue that is accessible to the public. It's just
Not new. I mean, it's been like this for
a long time. It's just that inflationary,
Now,
yeah.
it's with crazy inflation and.
It's vaccine.
Yeah, when the housing took off and went crazy,
Right.
we got hammered.
Right, and the fact that there aren't enough appraisal firms.
Correct. And,
And that the state's not willing to.
right. And this is not a problem that is unique to Chester. This is not, believe it or not, there are many towns far worse off than we are.
Well, I'm sure there are. Up in
Which doesn't give me much.
Washington County, anything near Burlington, they must be getting killed.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, hoping that things are starting to stabilize. I think that's what that says to me is it did drop, but it didn't drop as much as we had kind of expected it would. So maybe things are stabilizing out. We'll hold here for the next couple of years till we can get through that.
If they did do a buy down of 100 million, which I thought that was a number going around, and next year they don't have it,
We aren't
it might
gonna
be
have that
even
every year.
worse.
We might
It
gonna have
might
that
even
every
be worse.
Yeah. So
Well, on that happy note,
exactly.
we'll move on to our next business and next agenda.
So your next meeting, you're gonna have recreation, planning, zoning, assessing. We'll be here. Financial update. And we can touch base on the audit discussion and Deb and I'll kind of update you on our what we are thinking for plans. I will say that Ron Smith will be here again on September 2nd. That will be where we will be proposing a fund balance policy for you guys to start discussions on. So that will be September 2nd that Ron will be coming to have that conversation. And then August 5th review will be public safety, police, fire, ambulance will be here. Naomi will also be here to give an update on the treatment plant upgrade. The engineering is done. The engineering report is done, has been approved by the state, which is great. So we are ready to start final design when we're ready. I'm looking for other forms of grant funding for that project. We're going to need to do it in the next few years, but it doesn't have to be done next year. So we're going to see what we can find for funding sources.
I think for wastewater, there must be.
I'm hoping a lot of it though is the state of Vermont doesn't have any. the state of Vermont just does the subsidy stuff, and the most you can subsidize is $850,000 on a $6 million project. That's helpful, but there is the Northern Borders grant. I've never done one, but we are eligible. We're on their priority list. That will do up to $1 million. So there's a little bit of a piecemealing. You can get 850 from subsidy from the state, maybe $1 million from Northern Borders, but there are federal.
I would think so.
So I've never tapped much into the water sewer federal grants, but we're gonna look. See what's out there. It's a large project.
That'll be fun.
And there is a rule that with federal funding, you can only get 80%, but if I can get 80% of 6 million, I'll be a happy little camper. So, anyway.
At some point, are we gonna talk about our fiscal year?
Yes, that is at the next meeting.
Or was I-
Did I say that? Oh, no, I did not.
No.
I'm sorry. That might be a better discussion for Ron, when Ron is here on September 2nd. The transition of that, I can have him be prepared to talk about like what it physically looks like.
Could he perhaps prepare something to send us, like an outline of what that would look like?
Yeah, Deb and I can
That
work
we
on
could
that.
talk about ahead of time?
Yes. We don't have to have the conversation with Ron. You guys can take
Well,
that
no,
up
I'd
yourselves.
like to have his expertise, certainly, but I'm thinking if we have a chance to talk about it before he gets here, then we may make progress on it.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, is that at least we can think about what we know about it and then get somebody. who
Find out how
knows
much we
more.
don't know.
Right, exactly.
So, let's see, I wonder, maybe the next meeting, because Deb will be here on the 15th, so maybe that's the time to start it.
It doesn't have to be a
The
long
fifth- the fifth
discussion.
is
Right,
gonna
just
be-
the basics, you
Right.
know, what are the tripwires and what are the benefits?
Okay,
Right.
um,
Well, it's almost like there's a tax, there's a property tax that comes in from another thing that I have. But that is, you pay 100%, you're fine, but you can pay quarterly, and on the quarterly, you're gonna pay some interest.
Mhm. Right. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to get away from is, for the town paying interest,
Right.
waiting for the money to come in.
There you go, right. Well, the thing is also is how fast you use it. It's also optimistic. We're gonna say that the traffic ordinance is
the
done,
traffic ordinance will be done.
will be done.
I had that conversation with him actually yesterday afternoon. The traffic ordinance is done and he is almost done with the town green. So the town green we should have for August, the traffic we will have for the next meeting.
So already the town green has been pushed off again.
Again,
I'm hopeful that we will talk about the town green ordinance when I'm here, which is not August 5th.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Don't give them an out.
and
Don't
I'm
tell
not
them that yet.
anticipating that will be adopted in the just for transparency
I would
purposes.
like to be part of it.
Absolutely,
Sure.
okay,
Certainly.
okay.
Listen, this is optimistically thinking the town attorney will have it done.
Absolutely, but just in case it comes true, if we can wait until August 19th, that would be lovely.
Well, it's waited this long,
He's a
probably
victim
one.
of
I
his
think
own
it would be
success.
okay.
What was that?
He's a victim of his own success.
He's a
He's
bit-
busy.
Well, and now he's gonna be out for 4 weeks, starting mid-August, for his back surgery.
Oh, wow.
So,
Well, maybe not August.
Yeah, maybe.
no, he's promised me he will have it done before he goes out, so I
You
know
always-
we'll have it in
You
front of
always
us.
camp out at his, in his
So there's a
hospital.
Doesn't do any good. I've gone there before and it didn't make that much difference.
Peter, I have a question for you. You wanted, the voting process or voting for future budgets from the floor. What did you want me to have for the meeting for that discussion? Like the process?
No, well,
Changing or what?
I am thinking that it should be a paper ballot, but I'm also that, that the town budget should be by-Australian ballot.
So you want to just have a discussion? Do you need me to have anything prepared for that or just
No.
you guys talk about it?
We can just talk.
Okay, got it. Okay,
And just not a future agenda item, but just a reminder before we adjourn that you were gonna send us something about a motion. On the court case.
oh, yes.
Anything else at this point? I will then entertain the motion to adjourn. So Lawrence made the motion.
Second.
Peter and Arnie have made the second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Thank you.